How long are you going to let these fleshly passions ruin you? How many times are you going to indulge in that negative habit until you finally give it up? You've exchanged time and energy and attention for a quick instant gratification that doesn't even gratify you. It really just reveals how much of a bitch you are by failing yourself, by indulging in what's going to destroy you. The vape, the weed, the smoke, the porn. I mean, the list goes on. When are you going to realize that all these things are corroding and corrupting and destroying you as you indulge in it, while you don't give a fuck? So you don't care about yourself to change? That's the question you need to ask yourself. That's the questions that you need to be asking yourself every fucking day, every time you indulge. Every time you indulge, you prove to yourself how much of a bitch you choose to stay by not fixing yourself in the ideal manner. To not understand that every time you fixate and you curate and you penetrate your own soul, forcing your own will to turn into a demolition of yourself by channeling that time, energy, and attention into things that do nothing but slowly corrode and exasperate you. I mean, there's a million things to do on earth, and to sit there and passively kill yourself and channel that self-hatred energy through the vape, through the porn, through the self-demolition that you always choose to do. I mean, when are you going to give it up? Now, if you don't give a fuck about yourself, why should anyone give a fuck about you? If you don't care enough about yourself to quit that vape, you're actively destroying your lungs. If you don't care about yourself enough to quit the food addiction, you're fat as fuck, bitch. You're gonna die from a fucking heart attack. What the fuck is wrong with you? Did you not recognize that fat piece of shit, bitch, in the mirror? Or is there something wrong with my perception? Or am I perceiving you for what you are and what you choose not to recognize because you know there's a problem at hand, but you're too lazy, too much of a bitch to look in the mirror and fix it? Now, you have to understand that all your problems in your life, all the deficits in your life and being, all the deficits in your momentarily existence in the universe, all these deficits can be solved easily. The solution to all your problems are very simple. You're very complex. You cannot fix your simple problems because you complex them, because you are a walking complexity. You compromise yourself more than you help yourself. You choose to indulge in that negativity. You choose to invoke and induce negativity and reverberate that through your mind into the external world. You choose a bad experience over a good one. And you like it, you enjoy it. Every time you feel that pull of the negativity, you let it lead the way for you. Negativity is your leader. When we look at the concept of negativity, the force of destruction, that's a generative force of creation, right? Transformation, negative to positive, positive to negative, right? There is no limbo. It's just simply as above, so below, as within, so without. Negative and positive. Now, as you transform, are you transforming into something positive or negative? Because you have to understand that the moment you came out that wound, you were perfect. Absolutely perfect. And it doesn't matter if you came out, retarded. It doesn't matter if you came out with a deficit. You are always perfect. The moment you came out the wound, God doesn't make any mistakes, right? Did you transform to positive to negative? Are you transforming from, perfect to flawed? I mean, these are the questions. You need to open the fucking journal. Ask yourself, meditate on these questions. What's fueling your transformation? Have you been fueling your growth? Have you been surpassing that limitation? Have you been moving beyond that circumstantial circumference? Have you been moving beyond the circumference of your limitations? Have you been expounding beyond the veils of your own perceived deficits? Have you been creating? Have you been moving towards a specific goal to have a specific ends meet? Have you been recreating yourself in that ideal image of the best self? Or have you been destroying? Have you been neglecting? And have you been choosing to passively demolish yourself through the pleasures, through the passion? I mean, all these fleshly endeavors, I mean, come on. The porn. You can't go a week without porn. You can't give up the vape, the cigarette, the alcohol. I mean, you're a bitch because you only live once, and to compromise your experience of the best you and to just simultaneously corrode your own brain, you're literally passively killing yourself. I mean, we can talk about your problems all day. We don't want to talk about your problems. It's time for a solution. In the description, we have a self-development community with all the resources you need to cure your mental deficits and your mental illnesses. You have to understand, just like a disease, you contracted a disease of alcoholism, of the vape, of the porn. You contracted that disease through the people you were around. These people were indulging in these pleasures without any awareness to the fact that they're corroding themselves. And then you contracted that, and now you are actively walking around with a mental illness, which you don't classify as a mental illness. So therefore you'll never actually be healthy because you don't believe you're sick. How can we help a sick person? How can we tell a sick person to go to the doctor when they believe that they're healthy? You can't. The person's convinced that nothing's wrong with them, but then they walk around as a mental deficit to everyone around them unawareingly. You can't even go into the store without looking at a woman as a specific object. You can't see a human for a human. Do you not comprehend the velocity of your problems? Do you not understand the weight of what your mind is bearing and tearing through the fabrics of space and time? You only live once. Join the self-development community and begin your personal development, because if you don't pursue your personal development, you will remain underdeveloped your entire fucking life. And the only purpose of life and living is to continuously refine yourself and evolve. I mean, when we look at nature, when we look at everything around us, it's at a constant flow of growth, influxing, growth and compounding itself into a better thing through time. If you're not moving forward through time, I mean, time is literally pushing you forward, moment after moment. And to not grow is to go against the laws of the universe. Then you wonder why you're so fulfilled. You wonder why you feel like a bitch every time you pick up that vape, every time you indulge in that pleasure. You wonder why you feel like a straight fucking pussy every time you neglect the responsibility of pushing forward in your life. Now, you have to understand the only reason you exist is to evolve, and to go against your own evolution is to really just betray yourself. So are you going to continue to betray yourself, or are you ready to make a move in the direction of your best self to find the resources you needed? You always needed this. You always needed to grow. It's only brought to your awareness now that you haven't been growing all this time. So what is it going to be? Personal development or personal demolition? Do you have a volition, or are you ready to omit and continue this omission of self-destruction? Peace!